Hello, and welcome to Recapping with Delora
and Ashley.
Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at ReCapping Podcast.
Also, rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on all the things.
We want to hear your thoughts on the movies and shows we review.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts or our YouTube channel, and we will read them during the show.
Or reach out to us on social media. We love talking all things entertainment and pop culture with you.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Delora, you know something I've realized this week when I've been listening to pods, because I listen to probably a good at least like 5 podcasts weekly at this point, right? Like I'm big on higher learning, Native Land. I listen usually to Amanda Seales Steele. I'll listen to like Start Here ABC, and then which is daily actually. And then I feel like I'm forgetting about a 5th one that I listen. Oh, Bakari.
I love those podcasts.
I've realized that I feel a hole in my heart when I don't get my dose of my weekly podcast now, like especially higher learning. When it is a Tuesday or a Friday, it's like I get a chance to hear from my friends, Van and Rachel. And it just made me wonder, I hope our listeners, I hope y'all feel like y'all look forward to our shows because y'all get to hear from y'all friends twice a week. Because I really do. I was like, I really do feel that way about podcasts these days. Like I miss my friends when I don't hear from them for a little bit.
Absolutely. As I don't know if everyone knows this, but I've always been an avid podcast listener. And a lot of those shows I listen to, Higher Learning, Native Land. I listen to Tiffany Cross podcast as well as The Read and Brown Ambition.
Oh, The Read is on my list now too. Yep.
And I was such a rabid fan of The Read to where when they skipped weeks, it was like, oh, I have to wait. I need to know
where
how
are
you
my
feel about
friends
these things
at?
now. But I always say, Ashley, with our podcast, I'm like, we are your 2 girlfriends that we make you feel like you are not alone in how you feel about these pop culture topics, about these crazy movies and TV shows. And we're the place you go to when you want a good recommendation as well.
Absolutely. So friends, welcome back to Recapping with Delora and Ashley. We're so happy to be here with you for another week. And I know we had our Simone Biles Rising recap drop already on Tuesday, but we have to continue to talk more Olympics because obviously it's the first full week of Olympics that we're getting a chance to get to, but we'll get there.
We will. And I want to give a quick shout out to Tony. You know who you are. My coworker. He was introduced to our podcast courtesy of our conversation with Stacey Spikes. And he has been listening to all of our in conversations and spreading the word. So thank you so much for your continued support. It is, it makes my heart happy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony, and welcome. We appreciate you. All right, so it is our usual headlines and hot topics episode, and we have to start out with a rest in peace to actress Erica Ashe. Erica Ashe, you may be familiar with from Real Husbands of Hollywood, Survivor's Remorse. She passed away at the young age of 46. She had been battling cancer for a long time, which I had no idea about, had never known she was ill. And her family released a statement saying, Erica was an amazing woman and talented entertainer who touched countless lives with her sharp wit, humor, and genuine zest for life. Her memory will live eternally in our hearts. I also saw tributes from Lonnie Love and Sally Richardson Whitfield on social media. I think I'll definitely remember her most from Real Husbands of Hollywood, just because I used to watch that show faithfully. And I loved her chemistry with Kevin and the cast. But it's such a loss in Hollywood to see such a young, vibrant comedian pass away. What were your thoughts when you heard the news?
Well, I have to say it was a bit confusing because there was a lot of back and forth on whether or not it was true. And I felt like I understood that it was real when I saw Roland Martin address it. And he is a go to news source, especially for all things Black, right? So um, when I saw that, I just was really saddened. And to your point, I knew her best with the Real House Husbands of Hollywood. Her chemistry with Kevin Hart. Honestly, one of my favorite memes is her, picking him up and pointing. Like, if you know what that meme is, you know. And she was genuinely funny. I remember just, again, always seeing her, do different interviews on radios and podcasts. And she was really excited for her role in Contempt that was on BET. And I was excited that it was like, yes, it's like that Olivia Pope effect, like getting Black women jobs, portraying, fixers and lawyers and things like that. So, thinking of her family and friends during this difficult time, it's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. Rest in peace. All right. Our next headline of today, and our last headline really, is Marvel. Robert Downey Jr. came out to Comic-Con and announced that he is back in the Marvel Universe, this time playing Doctor Doom. I have a Yahoo Entertainment article up, and they're talking about the backlash that he's been receiving for this huge payday that he's going to be getting as a result of playing Doctor Doom. He's reportedly going to make $100 million to return to the Marvel Universe. And that's going to include, some amenities like a private jet and a trailer. What do they call it? Trailer encampment that he'll have on the set.
You saw 100. I saw 80 million.
People were saying upwards of 80, but in this particular
Okay.
article, it says 100, more than 100 million, actually.
So I'm sure that's with benefits because I was looking at Variety and it says plucking down $80 million. So yeah, that's a lot of money. A
It
lot of money.
is, especially when we came off of the strike last year and the fact that they were trying to make it seem as if they didn't have the money to spend. So a lot of people are like, oh, you didn't have the money to pay people as you should have, but you had 80 plus, $100+ million to pay to one person, right? And so I love,
especially the writers.
yes, the people who actually make the thing. I love Robert
Exactly.
Downey Jr., but when I heard this, I was like, wait, what are we talking about? I don't want to see Robert Downey Jr. return as a villain. If he's not returning in some iteration of Iron Man, which apparently, per Van, there is a version of Iron Man that does turn into Doctor Doom in the Marvel Universe, which I've never heard about.
No, that sounds like a deep cut, too deep for me. And we are abreast on, not, all things Marvel. Like we have a
Yeah,
good general understanding,
I don't
but
go
not
as deep
that
as
deep.
Van. Yeah, obviously.
No.
But if that's the case, okay, but still, like, I don't want to see him turn into a villain. Like,
Yeah.
Iron Man started the Marvel Cinematic Universe that we've come to know and love.
And I always like to say Blade financed it.
And I'm still needing this Blade next
Yo,
iteration to
they are
figure they
playing
ish
in
out.
my face and Mahershala's face. Like he has been sitting on this for a little bit too long, just for them to keep losing directors and writers for this thing. He is perfectly cast. Make it happen and make it good.
Yeah, hopefully they get it figured out. But I'm not excited for this. Now, maybe they'll shock and surprise me and it's gonna be fantastic. But when I first heard it, I was like, doom, doom, doom. Like, I'm not excited. How did you feel?
I have many thoughts, and I have been trying to talk to people, like even at work. And I thought the dudes at work would have been helpful because I'm in tech. And I'm like, I know y'all know some things. And the people, I asked the wrong people because they were like, oh, I don't know. I don't care. Okay. First one, yes, big reveal at Comic Con. I thought it was a womp womp for several reasons. One, he was Iron Man. He was Iron Man and he died.
Is
What
That's the
what
thing. It's not even was. He is. Iron
what
Man.
is Peter Parker going to do with this information? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Tony Stark is dead as far as I'm concerned in
Yeah.
the current iteration. Two, this is lazy and boring because yes, this is an immediate reaction to dropping Jonathan Majors as Kang, right? This is way too safe. You'd be better off choosing an unknown than shelling out this amount of money to somebody who has already had a prominent space in this multiverse. You understand what I'm trying to say? And
Yes.
number three, I don't care for Doom. Doom doesn't do it for me as a villain.
No, me either.
And again, I'm doing revisionist history, but they should have made Catherine Blanchett's character. She should have been the villain of a series because she was fierce, she was evil, and she was what they call "quote unquote" cunty. Like she was serving, okay. And
From
I would have
Thor, guys,
loved,
from Thor.
yes, his sister. I would have loved to see her some stuff up a little bit longer than that
Yeah.
one movie. And that honestly was one of the best Thor movies, also, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, Thor got a little out there, but points were made. I mean, I think Doom definitely doesn't do it for me either. The two previous versions of Doctor Doom we've had, first of all, Fantastic Four doesn't really do it for me. Can I
That
get
part.
X-Men? That's what I'm waiting for.
I am waiting for a new
Give me my
storm.
mutants.
Exactly. Thank you.
Give me my mutants.
But they tried to do it and it didn't stick as well, at least not for me. That iteration with Jennifer Lawrence.
What did they do with Jennifer Lawrence?
She was part of the X-Men first
Oh, when she was
class.
Mystique. When she was
Yeah,
Mystique.
they
Sorry.
tried to do
I'm like, who
that.
was she in X-Men? Yeah, she was Mystique. No, but see, I'm ready for them to fully be integrated into the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I think they were still Sony, right? So they were
Oh,
still
that's true.
their
Yeah.
standalone
And
iteration.
it was like a bit of a prequel too.
Yeah,
So
but they were
yeah,
supposed to now be joining it after that last
correct.
the Marvels. They're supposed to now be
And
around, so I'm
shout
ready.
out to the box office movie currently number one, Deadpool and Wolverine. That's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the first iteration of the new agreement between Marvel and Sony.
Kinda. I still, first of all,
And
I'm going
Fox.
to see it on Friday. That's one.
You
For
are.
two,
First of all,
yes.
why didn't you invite me? Let's talk this
Well,
through.
I'm
We
so
are in the
sorry.
same state now. You
I'm
have
so
a
sorry.
permanent movie buddy now. Okay.
Well, see, this is the thing is I love you to death, but I have like a Marvel movie buddy that would kill me. My guy Darian.
Oh my
I see
God.
we see all the Marvel films together, like legit,
Okay.
all the Marvel films together. So
I will I will
he would
give
be so
this to
upset with
you.
me.
I will give this to you. Okay. But just
Yes.
know we gonna be going out watching movies together now. Okay.
Absolutely. That's without question. This was just like gotta get it in with my guy Darian, and you'll have the next feature. But yeah, I mean, I am I'm wanting to see this, but I think I said it on last week's podcast or some point recently that the last, what was it called? Logan made me
Yes.
sick to my stomach.
Again, two dead superheroes miraculously coming back from the dead.
No, but if
I
y'all
just
haven't seen Logan, everybody got taken out. Everybody. And
literally
it was
everybody. It
horrific.
was it was not it was not fun, and it was away from what we have learned to love and appreciate about Marvel. Because like the thing about Marvel compared to DC is Marvel doesn't take itself that seriously. You know what I mean? Like there's a
Yes.
level of levity and charm and that good old wink wink that you get from a Marvel film. So with Logan, I was like, oh, this is dark.
It was horrific. That was a horror film.
I mean, what's that? It was either a movie or a play where it's like everyone dies. Like everyone. There's
Legit.
several things. I don't know. It's not coming to me, but that's That's what comes to mind.
It was horrible. For some reason, you know, what just came to my mind is I can't wait till they do a reboot of Clue. Like, of all the movies they can bring back that I loved, give me a
Girl,
2020 version of Clue. I
first of
love that
all,
movie.
that is beyond random.
I
Okay.
know.
And then shout out to Clue. I was just at Target because, you know, Target is life. No. And I was in the game section, and there's now a black man character in Clue. I don't know what character he plays, but the one that we own, there's a black woman, and she's Scarlet.
Well, I was gonna say I've
In
always
the
loved
version
Mrs.
that we,
Scarlet, so makes sense.
yeah, yeah. You know,
Okay,
brown skin looks great in red, so I thought that was a great choice.
indeed. Indeed. But yeah, that was super random. So back to Marvel real quick. I just want to say, I'm sure Robert Downey Jr. will not disappoint. He's probably going to shut it down in this role, but I'm not excited for it. So I just have to wait and see.
And I'm glad that you say that because I adore Robert Downey.
It's fantastic.
He is honestly one of my favorite actors. I was so happy when he finally got his sugar honey iced tea together to, you know,
Get off them drugs, stop stealing.
to have a career and a career that he deserves. And so I do not have doubt in his ability to create this character off the page into something interesting. But they're this was lazy. This was a lazy choice, in my personal opinion.
It also takes the sting out of Avengers Endgame. Like, I don't know if I'll
Yes,
ever watch it the same. Like,
that
I
was a
wept.
monumental moment in pop
Wept
culture.
in
Yes,
theaters. Do you hear me?
it was rough. And again, running to the theaters to watch it because it was such a cultural moment, and it just dilutes it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to our hot topic, which is these Olympics, because we are full force into the Olympics. But we got to start with the opening ceremony. So I caught the opening ceremony pieces of it when I was in Atlanta. Was staying with my cousin, and her partner was saying basically he has been watching the Olympics opening ceremony since he was 6 years old.
Yes, it's a
And this is
moment.
the best opening ceremony he has ever seen. From Yes, from,
Whoa.
you know, the fact that they all came in on boats to
Yep.
just the production value of what they put into the entire opening ceremony to the performances we got from Gaga, from Celine, who gave me
Girl,
freaking chills.
I was emotional. You know, that's a big statement because we watched opening ceremonies. My in-laws were in town, and I was introducing the Olympics to my daughter. I was telling her, you know, countries from all over the world compete, and it started in Greece. And I was teaching her like it's first, second, third place, gold, silver, bronze. And one of the things that I was reading leading up to watching it was that this was the first time, I think, almost ever that there wasn't a stadium where the opening ceremonies happened. And so the fact that all of Paris was part of it was quite fascinating, but it was kind of random too. I'm not gonna lie, like just people randomly on rooftops singing. I just was like, okay.
With
But
the
the
black
thing
chick
that,
singing opera. Woof,
girl, with the fro, I was like,
woof.
yes, sis, with the clarity, it was gorgeous. But it was very, very French in that they literally threw everything that was French out there for you. And so for me, you know, I was having a time because I studied France for many years. And so I'm picking up on everything from the Marie Antoinette kind of just was like in your face before the rock performance, which was hilarious to me. But even the interludes where they were filmed with that, whoever it was running around with the torch,
Yeah,
bravo to that person.
yeah.
Bravo. Okay.
He did his thing.
It's truly. And so when they went into the Louvre, of course, the Mona Lisa, but when I was like, not them acknowledging the menage a trois in the middle of the ceremony. Oh my gosh. But the thing that I did love about it was, again, I appreciate how they utilized the entire city for it. The only thing that I missed is when they were going through the countries. One year, I don't remember what year it was, but they had a graphic that they had the country, how many athletes, and then they gave us the globe on where this country was, like where it sits. And I wish they had that in this one, because it is an education, right? It was like some of these countries, if you ask me where they are, I'm going to just simply tell you, I don't know.
I'm bad at US geography, let alone world geography. I literally have a United States of America map magnet on my fridge, and I'll still be like, where's Iowa again?
Oh,
Like,
I'm really great with US, but when I tell you all the stands and all the um especially the islands, I'm like, which ocean y'all in?
yeah, it's a lot of places in this big old world, which
A
obviously you get a good
lot.
sense of at the Olympics. I mean,
Yes.
one of the biggest memorable things is, oh, Iran and Iraq can't be on the same boat, right? Like they got to be on two separate boats.
Girl, listen. And I don't think there was Russian participation this year either. And they were banned at the last one too. So there's no more of that.
I
What I
bet
think
they
is really
gymnasts are pissed because they are good at
exactly
gymnastics.
because growing up in the decade that we did, growing up, it was like Russians were the country to beat for gymnastics and figure skating, right? Like because they trained their entire lives. That's what we were told. Like they choose these children and they train them to represent the country. You know what I mean? Yeah, the fact that the US has been dominant in those sports since has been very fascinating and exciting to watch as well.
Did y'all know one of the co-founders of Google is Russian? I just discovered this.
Oh no, I didn't
I
know
don't
that.
know where I've been, but I was like, that's fascinating. Anyway, so I want to talk about Celine, particularly because you had mentioned last episode or last week
Yes.
rather that it was rumored she was going to perform, and I was like, oh, I'm so nervous based off of that documentary. I'm not going to be able to watch. So
Yep.
once I found out she sang and she made it through and it was so beautiful, I went on YouTube and I literally my hair was standing up. She
Yes.
was on the Eiffel Tower,
Yep.
accompanied by a pianist in the rain. Her outfit was flawless. Her vocals were
Fire.
flawless.
Fire.
I mean,
I
my
loved
God.
it. It was a moment. Ashley, I was on pins and needles, obviously, and she was flawless, flawless, and that gown by Dior was phenomenal. Like I love a good, isn't it's not fringe per se. I wouldn't call that fringe, but it was just gorgeous. She was gorgeous. What I thought was funny was she did wear gym shoes underneath that.
I would too, being up in the freaking Eiffel Tower. I would be
In the
nervous.
rain.
Yes,
Exactly.
I'd be nervous, but she looked beautiful. And I'm so happy that she was able. I mean, what a powerful moment. What a powerful performance. I am so happy for her.
Especially because, she is in a state where it's not automatic and there's no guarantees that she'll be able to do something like that again. And to have that be topped off was just absolutely outstanding. uh I also want to shout out Lady Gaga. She did the thing. I loved her outfit. It actually kind of reminded me a bit of her one of her Met looks from several years ago when she gradually changed her outfit with the guys around her. There were elements of that in this performance, but I love the pink. I love the black. She was just very cheeky, very French. I love how versatile she is.
Yeah, I thought it was very cute. So let's talk about Simone Biles, who is now the most decorated gymnast in, gymnastics. She won, her and the US women's team won gold in the team final. And she now has 8 Olympic medals in 3 games, breaking the tie she had with Shannon Miller. She is also throwing shade at her ex-teammate, Michaela. And let me make sure I get the
Skinner.
right Michaela because there's 2.
Yeah.
So Michaela Skinner, basically, I guess, fixed her mouth to say at one point that besides Simone, she felt like the talent and depth wasn't what it used to be. She said
Yeah.
this on
She
YouTube.
said
She
she
said
said this right after the qualifiers, like before the Olympics.
She said, obviously, a lot of girls don't work as hard. The girls just don't have the work ethic. Remember, we had talked about just last episode when we were talking about the documentary, whether or not athletes these days are considered to have the same, competitiveness as their predecessors. So she fixed her mouth to say this. And I guess Simone had her clap back after they won gold. And this young lady has since blocked Simone. So, what are your thoughts about, for one, Simone having yet another historical moment at these Olympics, and then this beef with her ex-teammate?
I was extremely proud of her and the entire team. I thought they did a fantastic job. I am not going to lie. At work yesterday, I was eating lunch and they had the Olympics on, and I was like, I am not going to miss it. I think, the whole conversation of this being a redemption tour, I was just so excited that they were able to solidify it with gold. I love both of their team names. The official one being the Golden Girls, but the the unofficial abbreviated one is F around and find out. And I was like, I love how ratchet they are. I'm just here for it. But the reason why they're called the Golden Girls is because they're technically one of the oldest teams there. And honestly, probably the oldest team in US history, because we talk about this in our conversation about Simone's documentary. Gymnastics has always been a young girl sport. They really did a great job capping it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Simone and her presence here in Paris, be at 27 and still being the one to beat has definitely changed that narrative, especially with Suni and Jordan being, they are younger than her, but they're not 16 years old, like what's her name, Hazley. So I could talk all day about them. I'm so proud of them. They have done a wonderful job, and I just love how they're changing the culture and being leaders in the field. As far as her beef with Michaela, you know what? She effed around and found out. You
Hmm.
just can't be talking at the side of your mouth. And in some ways, you wonder if it's steeped in jealousy, or even contempt of like, oh my goodness, she quit, during Tokyo, and we didn't have the opportunity to win gold. But by her stepping down and being selfless, she allowed the team to do what they needed to do for them to win silver. You know what I mean? Like if she had stayed, their scores would have bombed it. They might not have even placed. You know what I mean? And then what that narrative would have been like. So I just thought it was crazy that she was talking like that, because a lot of people felt like she was specifically speaking to Suni's performance during the qualifiers, because I think she did have like a wobbly moment or fall. But guess what? She made the team, and under pressure, she did an immaculate job, especially on beam and uneven bars. I just our podcast stories lately have been very much gymnastic heavy. Like I get very patriotic during this time of this time of year, Ashley.
I had said on our previous episode I was going to try to catch some other things outside of my norm. So yesterday I did end up watching some of the men's sand volleyball when they were up against Morocco, which was dramatic. And
Was
then
it?
yeah, because Morocco contested the last point and they won the challenge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, USA still won, but yeah. I watched table tennis, which was hilarious to me. I just have never seen people take, ping pong quite so seriously.
Yes.
Probably since Forrest Gump. What else did I watch? I watched the women's and the men's like outdoor basketball where you're playing just like one side of the court. Um,
Okay.
Yes, I watched like I really did watch a few things I was not familiar with, and I was like, okay, this is still entertaining and interesting. So I'm continue to try to catch some things outside of the normal like schedule of events and see what's going on in these Olympic Games. How about you?
I have not explored that much. Most of it has been women's gymnastics. Oh, well, to be fair, I have watched men's gymnastics. I've always enjoyed it to an extent. Obviously, I enjoy women's more, and maybe that's because they have always been dominant. So it's like, and again, Dominique Dawes, like Gabby Dixon, Douglas. But this year they did it by winning bronze, and I really was. I mean, Steve did his thing on the pommel horse. Shout out to Twitter. I saw somebody. It was a picture of him, and it said, "Look at that horse! Look at that horse! Look at that horse!" And Steve had one job, and he did it, and they won bronze, and the first medal in 16 years. Like that is something to celebrate. And then also, again, I've watched the relay races. It is interesting not rooting for Michael Phelps anymore, right? So it's like, who to
Hmm.
watch? Who to
Seeing him up in
watch?
the stands with his
Yes. And
goatee and
let's
man bun.
Yes, but shout out to Simone getting all the goats out. She had Michael and Serena. And then there's two things I want to talk about during this Olympic conversation. Why is Snoop Dogg the best US mascot? Like, I just love everything he's doing right now for NBC.
I
And this
want to talk about that too, because I feel like Snoop has had such a like career pivot that I never
I like
expected.
to call it, his career has been laundered. Like in some ways, you know how I'm referring to the crime of laundering, but you go from the streets to like everybody wants a picture with Snoop
I
Dogg.
mean, legit, like this rebrand is one for the books. And I don't remember
Truly.
if it started with him pairing up with Martha, but that didn't
It
hurt.
was the beginning. It was the
Yeah, that damn
beginning
sure
for
didn't hurt. And now
sure.
he's Uncle Snoop, and you got everybody wanting to interview him and have him dance and shout him out in the stands. And yeah,
There's this culture during the Olympics of exchanging pens, and Coco showed her pen as Snoop. Snoop has a pen, and it's him smoking, and it's the Olympic O's as if it's like smoke for the weed. I was like, I cannot.
that's
And
perfection.
there's this segment where it was like Michael Phelps swimming with Snoop, and they were just going back and forth in the pool. And Michael, obviously, he might not be in competition shape, but he's still freaking Michael Phelps. And Snoop was like, "Yo," he was like out of breath. It was just so funny. It was the cutest thing ever.
They should have brought Kevin Hart in for that because Kevin Hart cracked me up the one time he was acting like he was
It was Snoop
challenging Michael
and
Phelps.
Kevin at the last one, but I think Kevin is now paired off with Keenan. So that, and then Snoop is actually in person. But I
Mm.
think this was a lost opportunity for Leslie Jones, because she's a phenomenal commentator, and you would think she would have gotten an in, being a part of NBC's family with SNL, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Hopefully she gets the chance, because I love her coverage on social media. But the other part I was going to say, Ashley, was while watching Celine Dion and Lady Gaga, I was thinking, oh my goodness, that's the one thing I don't think Beyonce has ever done. Has she performed at an Olympics? But then, sure enough, she introduces Team USA. Have you seen that video?
Somebody told me, oh, a coworker told me there was a video, but I haven't seen it. I said I've seen her outfits via Instagram, but I haven't seen the video.
Oh, girl, she does the intro to USA to Yaya, which is one of my favorite songs off of Cowboy Carter. And she was just shouting out all of our stars. And then she shouted out, she's like, my girl, Simone Biles. And I'm like, yes. when greatness see each other. But speaking of greatness, there's like Spike Lee was there. Freaking Natalie Portman was there. I just loved all the love that the women's gymnastics team was getting.
Absolutely. The other competition I watched, can't forget about it, archery. I
Oh,
still
so
want to
you
try
watched that?
archery. Yeah. I mean, how that they put it like right on their face,
They
like
truly do.
I'm like,
I was
yo.
like, don't mess up the mug, y'all. Like, what? Protect the lips, protect the
I feel
nose.
like Katniss made it look very sexy. And I was like, I don't know if it's as sexy as it looked on the Hunger Games, but I still want to try it at some point though. So
But yeah, I mentioned the relay races also, and well, I read into it. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I looked into fencing because we have a gold winner and the silver medalist is a Black woman, the first Black person to win for fencing, and then
there was a
the
lady who was pregnant.
cutie. Yes, she's the Egyptian. I think they said she was in seventh place or something like that. But she's something with seven. She's 7 months pregnant. But I was like, shout out sis, making it do what it do, and shout out to what's our girl's name? Allison.
Felix.
Was it Felix? She got the very first Olympic nursery to happen. And I was like, yes, being, record holder and change maker. I love that so much. Oh, and the thing I was going to say was this. There's this little cutie young Black man representing USA for Taekwondo. And I came across his social media, and he's pretty good. I don't know when his games start, but like I said, he is a cutie. I believe his name is CJ. And then women's rugby winning bronze. So I've been following a lot of the different sports, even if I'm not able to watch it, because I'm just, again, I'm proud of y'all. I'm proud of y'all. And there was this one segment during the swimming relay races where this gentleman was talking about his routine. And he is a project manager who has his schedule is down to the minute of like him working and training and making it to the Olympics. And I'm like, I guess that's right. Not everybody's a Simone Biles. Not everybody's a LeBron James. Like these are everyday people who were extraordinary at their sport. And some people just got jobs and families.
Well, speaking of that, shout out to Flavor Flav for sponsoring the women's water polo team, I believe it was,
yes,
after finding out that they had multiple jobs. First, Red Lobster. Now we find out about this. Like, who knew he was so down for the cause?
I know. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've warmed up to him for this more so than Red Lobster. Maybe because it's more people focused versus
not about some Cheddar Bay biscuits.
All you can eat shrimp.
The point is he's a humanitarian, Delora. That's what he's trying to tell you. It's about the people. And the people want, when Beyonce mentions Red Lobster in a song, he said, oh, this is the people's restaurant. Okay, so it was about
I really hope they bought stock before that song dropped. Or would that be considered insider trader? I don't know.
Yes, it would be. It would be.
All right. Martha Stewart.
Yeah. All right. Anything else before we tell the people what we got for them on Tuesday?
That's all I got.
All right. Well, I feel like this has been a long anticipated announcement. So what's dropping next week?
Ashley, the time has come. We are recapping Netflix #1 series, Bridgerton, season 3, part 1.
Oh boy.
Poland.
Oh, is it Poland? I've been saying Pollen all this time because I thought it was Colin and Penelope. So I've been saying Pollen. So Poland. Got it.
I've heard both now. I actually, because they actually had a sponsorship with freaking not Flonase. Yeah, one of the allergy companies advertising Bridgerton because it's like Poland's coming.
Okay.
Pollen. It could have been Poland. I don't know.
Set me straight. You know it better than me. Uh Poland fans unite. We'll finally get on the mic and talk this through. So look forward to having y'all back for that. In the meantime, please share this episode with everybody you know. We so appreciate it. We cannot wait to talk to you again. Please join us for Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1. As always, in the meantime, be blessed.
Bye.